Hello, Francesca. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning, doing great. How are you, Marisa?
Very well. Welcome back to Amá CONVERSA. Today is episode 10, Friday, February 12th, Valentine's Day edition of Sippin' the Tea with the Bestie, Part 2. I have so many things to talk to you today
Let's do it.
about Valentine's Day. The good, the bad, the ugly. So, first off, what are you going to do this Valentine's Day? You're just going to stay home, obviously, right?
I believe so. We haven't quite discussed that yet, but most likely we will stay home, probably do some kind of dinner. We typically like to do like a little bit of a surf and turf, little steak lobster type of thing.
Nice.
And what about you guys?
Uh, Probably nothing. Probably stay home. Probably stay home. Probably DoorDash something. Who knows?
There you
The
go.
sky is the limit these days.
Yes. I mean, yeah, you could really do anything you'd like.
But I was going to say, what do you like about Valentine's Day, and what do you dislike about Valentine's Day? And today I don't have any notes prepared, so this is just totally freestyle.
A little bit of freestyle. Okay, so well,
What do
I'm
you
gonna
like about it, and
say
what do you dislike about it? By the way, I got on my Versace on today for you.
I
Okay.
see you. I love it.
When I want to feel romantic, I put the
Romantico.
yes. So what do you like about it?
So
What you don't like about it?
honestly, I might sound maybe like um Debbie Downer about it, but
Mm,
honestly, I think you should celebrate love every day and shouldn't be like a certain day.
yes.
Um, whether it's doing little things around the house or coming home with a surprise or just saying something sweet. Like, I feel like it doesn't have to be on a specific day or spending tons of money on flowers and stuff like that. Of course, to me, I view it more as like a Hallmark day, like marketing day where companies can make money.
Yes, I do have to agree with that. I think for me, if I would have to say, the thing that I don't like about Valentine's Day was as a kid, it was so challenging. And I will explain, I can maybe say a few stories, but Valentine's Day for me as a kid was a day that I dreaded. In the beginning, it was all fun and games because you would go to Walgreens and you would go with your mom and you would pick out the different themes of Valentine's cards you wanted to pass out to the kids.
Yeah, it's the cute little box. You want the certain one too, right? Like the Scooby-Doos with the hearts, not the like Finding Nemos or whatever. Or the boys got certain ones, the girls got certain ones.
Yes, Power Rangers and Pokemon. The list goes on with all the different kinds of Valentine card options. And that was always my favorite part as a kid, was literally only that, was going to Walgreens and picking out that. But then after, once we started to go into like the middle school and to the high school, that's when I really didn't like it at all. Like at all. Like I wish we could just skip that day altogether.
Sure.
Let's just keep going.
Yeah.
Especially since I was a late bloomer. I mean, literally had my first kiss at 15. Okay, my first boyfriend at 17. Whereas the other people that I knew or hung out with, they started way before me.
Yes.
I never liked that day very much when I was growing up. And then, so when I was in middle school, the cool boys thought it would be a good idea to buy a Valentine's gram and say it was from this kid, the let's say the cool kid, Mr. Cool Guy in school, right?
So, yes.
Yes, of course.
Popular.
And so they did that thinking they were so slick. but it was all fake. It was all set up.
There's
The
a setup, yeah.
So when I got the thing, I was like, what the hell? There's no way in hell that this guy gave this to me.
Sure.
But I mean, in my defense, the guy gave it to like 6 of the girls in the class too. So I don't know if that was from him or it was from the other guys. So
Playing a joke.
yes. So that story happened when I was maybe like 6th grade, 7th grade. And after that, I was never amused with any of that.
Sure, especially if you're, at that age, you might have been maybe mm, uncomfortable with yourself or still
Yeah.
trying to
Ugh.
get, and then someone does something like that, and at the time they don't realize what it can do to a person.
Yes. So that's why Valentine's Day for me is like, but I do agree with you that every day you should do something. It doesn't have to be on Valentine's Day. A
Yes,
random
exactly. With that being said, like things I do love about it though is how many people do get involved, all the beautiful colors, all the beautiful things you see, like flower arrangements, so many beautiful things. So that does bring me joy when I do see that, all the stores like full blown like displays. It's just gorgeous.
I seriously love that too. And I mean, pink is my favorite color. And you're definitely looking so cute in your pink and your purple. But
Thank
I
you.
also love it too. It's seriously, for me, it's probably my favorite decorations. Like, I love Halloween, obviously. I mean,
Yes, me too.
we love Christmas too. We do. But Valentine's Day would have to be probably third. And then, of course, Easter. I like Easter, etc., etc. But
Yes.
but I do like the flower arrangements and everything. And who
Yes.
flowers? Who cares if they die in a week or whatever? It's still nice to receive, right?
Yeah, it's so nice to receive. It still brightens up whatever living space you put them in. It's just changes your whole ambiance and environment in the room that you put them in. So to me, that's what I love, like having that and its presence, but everything that goes with the Valentine's Day too. It's kind of like you with the stories in like even in high school when they would send the little
Yeah.
Valentine
Oh my
grams.
God. Would go inside the classrooms with the balloons, right?
Yes, exactly. You like purchase them a week or two in
Why do I
advance.
feel like I got one time?
Maybe, yeah, I don't remember. I don't know.
I really didn't get one from anyone, and maybe I
Yeah.
forgot that I got one. I don't know. You know,
Oh well, whatever.
always the horrible part, like when they would come into the classroom with the balloons, right? And they
Yes.
would start naming the names, and of course it was like all the chicks, right? And then
Yeah.
you're like, they're the only one in the class, like with no balloon. You're like,
Like, is there a mistake?
You're like, excuse me. Yes. Is there a balloon for me? Oh, oh, okay. Maybe next year. And then
Oh, petty, yeah, I know, but it's whatever now
well,
looking at it.
I never liked anyone from our school. If I think about it, because me and Francesca, we've been best friends for 18 years. If you haven't gotten a chance to watch her part 1, it is episode 4 of Amá CONVERSA. And yes, she's been my best friend for 18 years. We went to high school together. And honestly, friend, I didn't date anyone in our high school.
Oh,
Sorry,
neither did
sorry
I,
you
remember?
guys, but I didn't. I didn't.
Yeah, no, lots of friends and stuff,
I
but
didn't
never
even
that.
date. So what am I talking about?
Yeah.
Well, I was the one that had the curfew of 9 o'clock for the longest time. So
Well, yeah, well, me too. Well, my dad wouldn't let me go anywhere anyways, unless it was like with you, but it's not like we went out and did like movies or anything like that. And even then he's like, why do you have to go to the movie?
I know.
It's
That's
like, I
why we
want to watch a
also
movie.
bonded very well because our fathers were very similar. We had a similar upbringing, but not only that, they had similar practices as far as parenting goes, and we had strict curfews. And me and friend were actually in IB courses together, which that's just a fancy word for college prep courses in high school. And so we were good kids, okay? I mean, we may look a little iffy if you think, but we were really, really, really good kids. And our fathers had similar styles of parenting. So we definitely
Yeah.
got along not only with music and art, but we got along in that way as well. And friends, since this is a Valentine's Day edition, I started to research a little bit about what is this Valentine's, because I honestly,
What is
yeah, what are you Valentine's?
what is really the real thing going on here, Valentine?
Real
The
thing thing. So
love.
I googled it, of course, right? Because Google is our encyclopedia. And there I started to research about different things. There was different stories about
Yes.
different possible guys that could have been St. Valentine's. But there was at least 3 or 4 different stories. And before we did this interview, we were chatting a little bit, and she read something similar to me, where St. Valentine's was this guy, which now I don't remember what country this was in. Do you remember what country this was in? Because I
Well,
don't.
I want to say it was actually Italy. I want to say this was the Roman age.
Yes. Okay. Yes. Roman. Okay. Yes, I do remember reading that. Okay. Thank you. So yes, it was Roman. So this was early in Italy, and
I want to say it was like AD, 80.
that I don't remember. That I
Long
would
time.
have to pull up. But yes, so this man was a priest. And so at the time, the emperor of that time said the soldiers that were the best were young men that were not married and did not have children. So he made this law that he didn't want young couples, young lovers getting married, because the best soldiers did not have women by their side. Okay.
Yeah.
So yes, so they'd made that law, and the
Hmm.
priest Valentine's thought this was absurd, this was ridiculous. So he
Yes.
continued to marry the couples secretly.
Secretly, yeah. Hmm.
So this was the same story that you researched as well, right?
I did, yeah. He would marry them secretly because, he was a believer in love and felt like if you were in love and you should be together. I too also had read a story about how he had like holistic powers, and there was a story about, I think it was a jailman, because he would
Yes,
he
I read this one too, where he falls in love with the daughter of the jail keeper, correct?
yes, and he no, is this the story you read where he like restored her blindness? She was actually a
No, I
blind
didn't
lady.
read that part. No.
Okay, yeah, so there was a gal who was blind,
Wow.
and he gave her back her sight, and so he was known for that. He had some kind of, powers, and yeah, he was all about love, helping people. He had visions. Just an amazing guy, and of course, there was people who were against that as well.
Yes, because they probably thought that was totally off the charts, right? Like, how
Yeah, back
could
then, of
I
course.
heal the blind woman? Yeah, so there's
Yeah.
different stories about this. And so one of the stories that we read, so once the emperor found out what Valentine was doing behind his back, he obviously ordered his death, right?
Yeah.
It was done. And
Mhm.
so that's why now we celebrate Valentine's, because he was a man that believed in love and this and that. But then
Yeah.
I knew I was going to talk to you today about Valentine's. So then I was thinking, what am I going to talk to her about? So then I thought to myself, wasn't the story about Van Gogh when he cut his ear? He sent it to
Um,
you because you love Van Gogh. Van Gogh is one of your top 3 artists that we learned from episode number 4.
mhm.
So I was thinking like correlating something with that. And I was like, yeah. So I wanted to know what happened with his ear, what happened there. And
Oh my God, so crazy, right?
so,
Like, who does that?
yeah,
Well, Van Gogh, he was a great artist. A lot of his works a lot of his great works actually came later on in his life, like the last 2 years of his life. And he was unfortunately mentally unstable. He started to get really crazy there towards the end, just losing his mind. But yeah, he had gotten in a feud with one of his coworkers, actually, or someone he worked for, painted for. They had gotten into an argument, which led to Van Gogh cutting his ear off. I don't know why he had to cut his ear off,
Crazy.
but when you're mentally unstable, you're in a fight, who knows, he just lost it, cut off his ear, and decided to mail it, like you're talking about, to
So
somebody.
fun. Yes. So then I thought we learned this in school that he had sent it to a woman. So then I
Yeah.
was curious to know who this woman was, started Googling around, and I found that they barely just even discovered the name of this woman. So for
Yeah.
130 years, or 100 and something years, I'm pretty sure it's 130,
Oh,
for the
yeah,
past
long time.
130 years, they had no idea who the woman was. They just knew this story, but they didn't know the specifics. So
Yeah,
now,
the details. Mm-hmm.
so now we know a little bit about this woman. This woman either was a prostitute or worked at the brothel. That was
Mm-hmm.
not very clear, because Fran read a story where she was the maid, and then I read a story where she may have been the madam or the owner.
Or
So
the owner, that's right. But I mean, of course, who knows the original story? I think it started with, it was a prostitute, so there was speculation that this was a woman he would go see when he went to the certain region of France, to the certain place. He would go there, frequent there, and so it was a prostitute, and he sent her there. But then later on, they discovered that it was actually a maid, not a prostitute. But he really didn't have any relation with the person
yeah, they were
sexually.
just
He just
acquaintance.
yeah, it's just acquaintances, friends, no sexual relations, no love, nothing like that. So even that is still very peculiar in
Yeah,
itself, because it's like, why would he send her that still,
exactly. So, I mean, you did say that at that point he was going a little bit cuckoo bananas.
Yeah.
And then 2 years later, I read the years. So 2 years later, he actually passed away. So
Yes.
did he take his own life or not? Now I'm unsure. I have to do a little.
Yes, I believe so. He did commit suicide.
Yeah. So that, unfortunately, I thought it was going to be a romantic story about a guy cutting off his ear and professing his love to this chick.
No,
But in the end, it was
it's not.
big confusion.
Just like art, like how we were talking about before, it could have a certain interpretation. Like, for example, Van Gogh, The Starry Night. Do you know what that painting's actually about? Do you know his,
Tell
like,
us, man.
Starry Night? It's so famous, right? But do we know the story behind it? That was actually a view that he would have from his cell when he was in the asylum. That was what he would look out the window and see. So of course then he repainted that,
Well,
and of course made it more magical and swirly and beautiful. So there's millions of people who look at this painting who are attracted and drawn to it, but then when you learn the story behind it, it has like a dark side to it.
yes. So it's like I always like to say, perfectly imperfect. It looks perfect, but then behind the scenes in the background where it really truly originated, it's not so perfect, right?
Yeah, it's not so beautiful, not so perfect, but that's like everyone's story.
Yes. Oh, snaps. So we're City Part 2 with the Bestie. Is there anything else you would like to say about Valentine's? What do you would like to do for a future Valentine's Day? That's a good question. After this pandemic is all done with, after we go back to our normal lives, what is something you would love to do on Valentine's Day?
Valentine's Day.
It could be anything, like it doesn't even have to be something realistic. It could be something totally fantasy. It could be like, oh, I would like to go to Paris and go to the Eiffel Tower on Valentine's Day.
Dude, so hot air balloon.
What
Never done that.
an idea.
Never even seen that. Like, where do you go do that? I want to do a hot air balloon. That sounds amazing. Like, and if it was in Europe, even better.
Oh my gosh. So you wouldn't be scared to go on the hot air balloon?
No, I want to say no when it comes to actually the time doing it. I might get nervous, but I think I'll still do it.
Up there, right?
What was that?
It'll be beautiful once you're up there, and then
Yes, I think I'd feel more secure. Like, I was nervous to go ziplining for the first time when I went ziplining, but I did it. Once you're there, once you're doing it, it's just totally different.
it's just an unexplainable experience, and you're just so grateful that you didn't let your fear hold yourself back and that you tried it, right?
Exactly.
I think for me, especially since we haven't been anywhere for a very long time, it's coming up 1 year in February that we haven't went anywhere. We went to Hawaii the last time as a family.
Yeah.
So I think for me, my future Valentine's Day, I have maybe two ideas. One would be going to Italy and going in one of those
Gondolas?
gondolas. Yeah.
That was one of my ideas too, but I didn't
Oh
want
my
to say
God,
that
you
one.
sent it to me. You sent it to me.
That's so funny.
But yes, I would like to do that because, I mean, of course, when you watch movies, I mean, that's like the ultimate romantic thing that you could ever do. I mean, that, and also New York City when you can go on the horse carriage, like around Central Park and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's beautiful.
that would
That's
be,
fun.
that just came to me right now. That wasn't even part of the equation, but that just came to me now. But what about like going to Jamaica and like having a crazy adventure there and visiting the Museum of Bob Marley? I would love to do that. That's very romantic to me because I love Bob Marley just as much as I love Amalie Rodrigues. I love Bob Marley, and I used to be so obsessed with Kurt Cobain to the point, yes, to the point that I had a huge poster of Kurt Cobain in
Yeah, I
my
read a few books on
Do you
him.
remember that poster, by the way? It was
I
like
do.
sepia tone, so like a brownish beige. And he had those big white sunglasses.
Yes.
Oh my God. Yes, I was obsessed.
I love those sunglasses. Yeah.
I'm obsessed with the dead. What can I say? I'm obsessed with the dead. I'm obsessed with times before me that have maybe nothing to do with me, but that I love.
It's just so interesting.
It really is. So, anywho, any last things to say about Valentine's Day? I really appreciate your time again. I always love talking to you. If nobody knows, me and Francesca talk all the time, every day. Seriously, to the point that our men are like, "What is going on? Who are you talking to? Again?
Again.
Really?
Again.
Again?" Yes, again.
And I'm like, but dude, wait, there's this blah, 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 blah. So chocolate covered strawberries.
Chocolate covered strawberries. You like those? Okay.
I like that. Those are my favorite ones.
Incorporate that into there. Oh, you know what I had yesterday that was so good?
What?
This would be a good thing to drink on Valentine's Day. It was actually your dad's girlfriend brought it over. It was so I live currently right now. I live at Francesca's dad's house, but in the front because it's a separate unit. So she brought over the Martinelli's apple cider.
Ooh, yes.
The, Martini Rossi white sparkling.
Ooh, yes. I love it.
Together. Imagine that, and then with strawberries inside.
Inside? You just blew my mind. That sounds good.
Valentine's Day drink.
I've never had that mixture before. You know, Martinelli's is from Watsonville.
Yes, I was telling my husband that when I was drinking it yesterday. I'm like, Martinelli's is from Watsonville, and he was like just staring at me like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, like from 1882, 6, 9, something like that.
The best apple cider. If you haven't tried it, Google it and see where you can find it, or see where you can buy it around you. Maybe BevMo, but it's really good. So, Fran, thank you so much, and I look forward to talking to you again very soon. Have a good rest of your day.
You too. Bye.
Yeah.